皆さん、こんにちは。私はリアニです。そして、今日は IELTS writing について話をしましょう。We are going to talk about the IELTS writing, particularly the task 1, academic. So, this writing module of the IELTS is made up into two parts. First of all, here, number 1, infographics to words. Basically here, we're going to make a report for this infographics to words. Infographics wa nan desu ka? What are infographics? Infographics are information graphics. What are we talking about here? For example, we have pie charts. Okay, what else? Flow charts. Also, we're talking about line graphs or bar graphs. Okay, bar graphs. And what else? We also have tables. Okay? These are examples of information graphics, or we call it as infographics. We are going to make a report describing infographics. So, infographics について説明を書きます。リポートでね、in a report. This is the first part. The second part is you're going to make an essay. This we're going to discuss later. Initially, we're going to talk about the first part for now. So, it is very important to know how long does this take, this writing test to take. これはどのぐらいにかかりますか? It takes for about 20 minutes. これは25分にかかります。And you're going to write at least 150 words. So this means to say 150 words and more. So 20 minutes might be short considering that you're going to write a report about infographics, about your description. So you have to know what are the words or how are you going to write your report. So of course there are 4 components that they are going to base you for your report in this writing part of the IELTS. First is the usage of vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary, tango no tsukaikata. As you notice, in every part of the IELTS, vocabulary is really very essential. So you have to really enhance your vocabulary and you have to make use of a variety of different words. So this is important. Secondly, grammar, bunpo. Bunpo is very important because you're going to write some sentences, especially in your report. You have to know the proper usage of the tenses of the verb. Kakoke, past tense, genzai-ke, present tense, mirai-ke, future tense, and so on. Tsigiwa, we have ability to meet the task requirements. Are you able to write what is being asked of you? A simple example would be, you're given a task to write at least 150 words. So, for instance, you made like 120 or 125 words. In this case, that means to say that you are not able to meet the task requirements because you are given an instruction, 150 words. So you have to follow what is being asked of you. Okay, and then we have coherence. In this part of the IELTS, in the writing, you're going to write a report. So you should have an introduction and also, it's also made up of your body report. So for your introduction, basically here, it's 1 to 2 sentences. You can make 1 to 2 sentences here. So keep it simple and straightforward when you make your introduction. And this we're going to discuss as we go on with our talk. Secondly, the body. Okay, depending on which infographics you get in your test, the body, you can split it up into 2 parts, or if you're given, for instance, a diagram. When you say diagram, we are talking about a pie chart, flow charts. So for a diagram, you don't have to split it because it's a process. It's a life cycle. So yeah, only one paragraph will do. Now, first of all, you will be asked to write what you see visually. So you're going to be asked to write descriptions on infographics, the one that we were talking about, information graphics such as bar graphs, line graphs, pie charts, tables, and we also have flow charts. So it's very important to know how each of these graphics look like. Let's start. First, we have the bar graph. So how does a bar graph look like? Okay, we draw. We call this as the XY axis. So here, this one, this is what you call the X axis. And here, Y axis. So from the word itself, bar, okay, like chocolate bars or gold bars, we see bars in this graph. For example, like this. Okay. Say for instance, this is our bar graph. Say we will be talking about international arrivals of tourists in the country. So let's see. We have here the year. For example, 1995 and let's say 2000 and 2005. Okay, this year, and we have countries like, for example, okay, let's make use of. Okay, so this x-axis and y-axis information are very important when you look at your bar graph. So you just notice the bars. So this is a bar graph. Okay. Next in line, we have line graph. So it's also kind of a graph. So when you say graph, there is always x-y axis. Okay. How does a line graph look like? Okay. Here we have the x-y axis. So this is the x-axis, and we call it the y-axis. So, well, line. From that word again, so it means to say you can see lines in this case. So let's use another color. Okay. For example, okay. So also we have to look out the information on our XY axis because this is very important for us to write our description on it's either a trend or a pattern. So here should probably a year, the year, and the country. So you have to look at this part here. You can see a line. That means this is a line graph. Okay. Third one, we have the pie chart. So this might be very interesting because it sounds like a pizza pie or a apple pie. Pie, okay? Pie chart. When you think of a pie, what comes into your mind? So something like a round object. So that is correct. A pie chart looks similar to this. Okay? Round. So maybe like this proportion. Okay, here. So it's really easy to identify the pie chart because of its feature. It looks like a pie. Okay? This is a sample of a pie chart. Next is the table. Table. Okay. Table, it looks like this. Okay, let's make it. Okay. So we make some columns and rows, lines for the table. Something like this. So, say for instance, let's say A, B, and C, and there are some information that we can see in this here. Probably like percentage or anything that is written here. As long as it looks like this, it's a table or like table of elements, table of contents. It's a table. Okay, rows made up of rows and columns. This is a sample of a table. Okay, we have the flow chart. So when you hear about flow, it means there's a structure and a process. Okay, it's a cycle, flow. So how does a flow chart look like? Okay, let's make it. Here is a sample of a flow chart. Okay, so there is this main structure here and substructures like this, perhaps. Okay, so it's easy to describe and so on. So for instance, this. Okay, so you can see the flow of the chart, the flow of the information that we have. Say for instance, say tourism, and then countries. Okay, this is a flow chart. So here, let's have a recap. We have the bar graph. Looks like this, bars. When you can see in the graph that there are bars, so that means it's a bar graph. And the next is line graph. It's also a graph, so it has y and x-axis, and line. Okay, line graph. Next is the pie chart. From the word pie, okay, it looks like a pie, and there are some proportions here that you should recognize. This is called a pie chart. Table, next. Looks like this. It's made of columns and rows, table. And finally, the flow chart, it looks like this. So now you already know the 4 components that you will be marked on in this writing module. And also, you also have learned the different features and how each of the graphics look like. So in the next video, we're going to show you how to make a good introduction to have a better mark in the writing module of the IELTS. So, 一緒に勉強しましょう。ありがとうございました。See you next time! また今度ね!